Amazon Prime Video's Countdown was one of the most exciting additions to the crime thriller genre in 2025. In more ways than one, it also seemingly borrowed 24's premise while giving it an intriguing double meaning. Fox's 24 ran from 2001 through 2010, winning 20 Emmy Awards across over 200 episodes of television, including Outstanding Drama Series in 2006, beating juggernauts like The Sopranos and The West Wing. Amazon Prime Video's TV library includes a number of titles that could rival 24 in action and intensity, be it Reacher or Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, but Countdown utilizes time as a similarly central concept. Countdown's cast is led by television veterans like Jensen Ackles, Supernatural, Jessica Camacho, The Flash, and Eric Dane, Grey's Anatomy, all of whom are charismatic in their roles. Although the series hasn't been well reviewed by critics, audiences are enjoying it, with it quickly climbing Amazon Prime Video's streaming charts the night after its release. Countdown is a ticking clock thriller surrounding a terrorist threat. Countdown's protagonists bend the rules to prevent an attack. Amazon Prime Video's new series Countdown draws significantly from 24, demonstrating how the 2000s action thriller has maintained its influence over 2 decades after its premiere. 24 used real-time as an ingenuity in its storytelling, with each episode being 1 hour of a 24-episode season, covering 1 full day. Although Countdown doesn't necessarily use the same format, it shares a similar essence as an action-packed counter-terrorism thriller, where the heroes race against the clock to prevent a deadly attack. A ticking clock is frequently used in the soundtrack to establish intensity. Events kick off when Homeland Security agent Robert Darden is mysteriously murdered by the cartel. Suspecting a broader conspiracy of corruption among Homeland Security agents, as well as other law enforcement departments, a task force of misfits is formed. The investigation of this murder leads the task force to a man named Boris Volchek, a Belarusian ex-military man who has come to Los Angeles, seemingly out of revenge for his dead brother. The show's stakes are terrifying, with Volchek successfully smuggling the materials to trigger a Chernobyl-level event. Jensen Ackles' Detective Meachum has a personal ticking clock. Meachum's brain tumor is a countdown to his death, custom image by Yider Chacon. At the head of the team is homicide detective Mark Meachum, who spent years of his life working as an undercover cop in prisons and among neo-Nazis. Meachum is regarded among his peers as a reckless, self-centered wild card. However, Meachum has recently been diagnosed with a severe brain tumor that threatens his life. Therein lies the double meaning of Countdown, as not only is the clock audibly ticking as part of the show's soundtrack, showing the intensity of the terrorist threat in Los Angeles, but it's also ticking on Detective Meachum's life. Mark Meachum has made questionable choices in his life, often burying his feelings in work and self-punishment. Now, he's accepted his imminent death and, with nothing to lose, is the perfect man to stop a horrible threat. Rather than having to play it by the book, worrying about the future of his career, Meachum can go rogue, doing whatever is necessary to stop Volchek's plan from coming to fruition. This begs a compelling question about which will happen first, the detonation or Meachum's death from the tumor. Meachum isn't the only one on the task force with issues, however. Episode 1 reveals that DEA agent Amber Olivares is a ticking time bomb as a drug addict, and it's not long before we see her considering using. 24 used 24 hours of real time as a central element to empower each episode with an additional level of intensity, while Countdown utilizes its title as a double entendre, representing the explosion of a nuclear device and the implosion of the protagonists. Why Countdown was cancelled after Season 1? The show's performance did not meet the streamers' expectations. Despite showing a lot of promise in its opening installments and performing fairly well on Prime Video, Countdown eventually fell short of Amazon's internal benchmarks for a long-term investment. In the US alone, Countdown ranked among the top 10 shows on streaming for several weeks in a row. Internationally, though, the series struggled to find an audience. Even in terms of critical reception, Countdown could not match the acclaim achieved by some of Prime Video's best crime thriller shows, like Reacher, Bosch, and Jack Ryan. It still holds an underwhelming critic score of 35% on Rotten Tomatoes. Since Prime Video already has a long line of critically and commercially successful crime thrillers, it probably did not make sense for the streaming service to invest in a relatively mediocre series. Owing to this, Countdown Season 2 never saw the light of day.